The church doors burst open with a thunderous slam, and there she was, my stepmother, Evelyn, her face twisted in rage, storming down the aisle like a hurricane unleashed. "You disgusting freak!" she screamed, her voice echoing off the stained glass windows as she lunged forward and slapped me hard across the face, the sting burning deeper than any physical pain. The guests gasped in horror, but Brinley, my bride, my everything, grabbed my hand tightly, her eyes wide with shock yet fierce with defiance, as the world I thought I knew crumbled in that instant. I stood there, frozen, the white lace of my wedding dress suddenly feeling like chains around my body. How had it come to this? Just hours ago, Brinley and I had been whispering vows in secret, promising a future free from the shadows of judgment. But Evelyn's outburst wasn't just anger. It was the eruption of years of suppressed hatred, the kind that festers in the heart of someone who claims to love you, but only sees you as a disappointment. In my mind, the memories flooded back unbidden. Growing up in suburban Chicago, I, Brooklyn Hayes, had always been the dutiful daughter. At 25, with my long auburn hair and a job as a graphic designer, I blended into the American dream my father had painted for us after Mom died. He remarried Evelyn when I was 12, and she brought her conservative values like a Bible clutched too tightly. "Family first, Brooklyn," she'd say, but her version of family meant straight lines, no curves, no deviations. Brinley Thompson entered my life like a breath of fresh air during college in New York. She was 24 then, with her pixie-cut blonde hair and that infectious laugh that could light up the darkest dorm room. We started as friends, studying late nights over coffee, sharing secrets about our fears and dreams. But one rainy evening, as we huddled under a shared umbrella, our hands brushed and something ignited. A spark that neither of us could ignore. "Is this wrong?" I whispered to myself that night, staring at the ceiling, my heart pounding with a mix of terror and exhilaration. Society had drilled into me that love like this was a sin, a choice, something to be fixed. But with Brinley it felt like destiny, like coming home. Yet the internal battle raged. Every time I looked at her, I questioned myself. Was I betraying my family? My faith? Evelyn had raised me Catholic, dragging me to church where priests preached about traditional marriage. "God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve," she'd quip at dinner, her eyes narrowing if I ever mentioned a female friend too fondly. I pushed those feelings down, dated boys in high school to fit in, but they felt hollow, like acting in a play I didn't believe in. Brinley was different. She made me feel seen, alive. But coming out, that was a war I wasn't ready to fight. We moved back to Chicago after graduation, Brinley taking a job as a teacher, me freelancing from home. Our relationship blossomed in secrecy. Stolen kisses in parks, weekends away pretending to be just roommates. But the pressure built. "When are you getting married, Brooklyn?" Dad would ask, his voice hopeful, unaware of the storm brewing. Evelyn, though, suspected. Her snide comments about those liberals ruining society grew pointed, aimed at me like arrows. I told myself it was paranoia, but deep down I knew she was watching. The decision to marry came after a particularly brutal family dinner. Evelyn had cornered me in the kitchen, hissing, "I see how you look at that girl, Brinley. It's unnatural. Fix it before you destroy this family." Her words cut like knives, awakening a defiance I'd buried. That night, in Brinley's arms, I proposed. "Let's do this for us," I said, tears streaming. She nodded, her blue eyes shining. No more hiding. Planning the wedding was a minefield. We chose a small, progressive church in the city, inviting only close friends who knew our truth. Dad was told it was a commitment ceremony for now, but Evelyn? We kept her in the dark, fearing exactly what happened. As I walked down the aisle earlier that day, Brinley waiting in her tailored suit, looking every bit the confident woman I loved, I thought we'd made it. But Evelyn had found out, how I didn't know, and her arrival shattered the illusion. Now, as security dragged her away, her screams fading, I turned to Brinley. "We can't let this ruin us," she whispered, but doubt crept in. Was this the price of our love? The slap wasn't just physical. It was a declaration of war from the woman who'd helped raise me. In my heart I wrestled. Had I chosen wrong? Pushed too far? The ceremony continued, vows exchanged amid whispers, but the joy was tainted. That night, as we drove to our honeymoon suite, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. The next morning, reality hit harder. My phone buzzed with messages, Friends concerned but worse, Dad's voicemail. Brooklyn, what the hell happened? Evelyn's in hysterics. Call me. I stared at the screen, my stomach churning. Brinley rubbed my back. We knew it wouldn't be easy, she said softly. But did we? The societal weight pressed down, headlines about LGBTQ rights, but in our bubble it felt personal. Evelyn's abuse wasn't new. Verbal jabs over years had chipped away at my self-worth. Now physical. Crossed a line. I called Dad, my voice trembling. She slapped me, Dad. At my wedding. Silence then. Wedding? To Brinley. The disappointment in his tone broke me. He loved Evelyn, had for 13 years. She's just upset. You know how she feels about this. Our love reduced to a pronoun. I hung up, tears flowing. Brinley held me, but inside I questioned. Was fighting for us worth tearing my family apart? Days blurred into a haze of avoidance. We returned home to our apartment, but the air felt thick with unspoken fears. Brinley tried to keep things light, cooking dinners, planning future trips. But at night, alone with my thoughts, I replayed the slap, Evelyn's words echoing. Disgusting freak. Was I? Society said no, but family bonds tugged. The moral dilemma gnawed. Honor thy parents, but at what cost to myself? Then the first betrayal surfaced. A knock at the door, my cousin Mia, Evelyn's niece. Aunt Ev wants to talk, she said, eyes averted. I refused, but Mia lingered. She says if you don't, she'll cut you off. Financially, emotionally. The threat hit hard. Dad's business supported us occasionally. Brinley overheard, her face hardening. Don't let her control you. But the seed was planted. Choose love or family. As the week ended, tension mounted. I met Dad at a coffee shop, neutral ground. He looked older, weary. Evelyn's sorry, but she can't accept this. It's against everything she believes. His words stung. And you? I asked. He sighed. I love you, kid, but marriage is sacred. Sacred? To whom? The conversation ended in stalemate, me leaving with a heavier heart. Back home, Brinley waited. We'll get through this, she promised. But doubt whispered, at what price? The fallout escalated faster than I could process, like a domino chain toppling everything in its path. Evelyn didn't stop at the slap. She launched a full assault on my life, starting with social media. Posts appeared on family groups. Old photos of me with ex-boyfriends, captioned "Remember when Brooklyn was normal?" Friends called, shocked, but the real blow was the whispers at work. Clients pulled projects, citing personal conflicts. How did she know them? Connections, always her weapon. Inside, the turmoil raged. Every mirror reflection screamed back. Who are you, Brooklyn? The girl who hid her truth for years, or the woman brave enough to marry Brinley? Brinley, sensing my withdrawal, confronted me one evening. Talk to me, she urged, her voice cracking. I feel you slipping away. I wanted to scream that it wasn't her. It was the world closing in, but words failed. Instead, I muttered, maybe we rushed this. Her eyes widened and hurt. Rushed? After 5 years. The argument brewed, our first real fight as wives. She stormed out, leaving me alone with my thoughts. Was this the mouthwandowduk Evelyn preached? Choosing love over family duty? Catholic guilt clawed at me. Confessions in youth about impure thoughts now felt prophetic. But Brinley wasn't impure. She was pure light. Yet the societal Dinkin loomed. Billboards for traditional families, news of anti-LGBT laws. In America, a land of the free but not for us? Dad called again, pleading. Come home, talk to Evelyn. She's willing to forgive if you annul it. Forgive? The word ignited fury. Forgive me for loving? I snapped. He paused. It's not that simple. She's scared for your soul. Soul. The conversation turned to her past. Evelyn's sister, disowned for similar reasons. She doesn't want that for you. But it was control, not care. Brinley returned late, apologetic. We reconciled in silence, holding each other. But the damage lingered. At school, Brinley faced scrutiny. Parents complained about her lifestyle influencing kids. How do they know? She whispered. Evelyn again, spreading rumors. The pressure mounted, testing our bond. We fight back, Brinley said, but I hesitated. Fighting meant more loss. Then the ultimate betrayal. My best friend from childhood, Sarah, Evelyn's plant. She invited me for lunch, only to ambush with intervention. Think about your future kids' normalcy. Normalcy. The word echoed Evelyn's. I left betrayed, questioning loyalties. Who else was in her pocket? Internally, the war intensified. Nights of insomnia, pondering. Was love worth this isolation? Brinley's strength inspired, but my weakness showed. I can't lose you, I confessed one night. She smiled sadly. You won't unless you choose to. A turning point came at a family gathering I foolishly attended. Evelyn cornered me in the backyard. End this farce, or I'll make sure your father chooses me. The threat. Divorce, disinheritance. Her eyes gleamed with victory. You're breaking his heart. But it was hers doing the breaking. I fled, heart racing, realizing the depth of her manipulation. Brinley waited at home, ready to console. But doubt crept. Was marrying her a selfish act? The societal weight, friends drifting, jobs at risk, piled on. Yet her touch grounded me. We're in this together, she said. Together. But for how long? The next blow, legal threats. Evelyn, through a lawyer friend, hinted at contesting our marriage on fraud grounds, claiming I was coerced. Absurd but terrifying. She's unhinged, Brinley said. We consulted a lawyer, draining savings. The stress showed. Arguments flared over money, family. In my mind, flashbacks to our first date. A picnic in Central Park, laughter flowing. This feels right, Brinley had said. Now, right felt wrong under scrutiny. The moral quandary. Sacrifice personal happiness for family peace? Or forge ahead, paying the price? Dad visited unexpectedly. Evelyn's pushing me to cut ties. His eyes teared. I don't want to lose you. The choice hung, side with us or her. Love shouldn't divide, I pleaded. He left undecided, leaving me shattered. Brinley and I sat in silence that night. What if we move away? She suggested. Escape. Tempting, but running felt like defeat. The tension built, decisions looming. Evelyn's web tightened, forcing confrontations. A heated call with Evelyn. You're destroying everything, I yelled. No, you are, she retorted. Repent, come back. Repent. The word fueled rage. Hanging up, I turned to Brinley. We stand firm. But inside, cracks formed. As weeks passed, isolation grew. Friends sided, family divided. The psychological toll. Anxiety attacks, questioning identity. Brinley supported, but her own pain showed. Lost promotions, judgmental stares. The climax neared with Dad's ultimatum. Choose Brooklyn. Heartbroken, I refused. I choose love. The line went dead, echoing loss. Yet, in loss, clarity emerged. Brinley and I grew closer. Bonds tested but unbroken. But Evelyn's next move? Unpredictable, dangerous. The rift deepened into an abyss, swallowing what remained of my old life. As Evelyn's campaign turned viciously public, anonymous letters arrived at our door, filled with Bible verses condemning sodomites. Her handwriting barely disguised. Brinley shredded them, but the fear lingered. Was she watching us? Stalking. The paranoia ate at me. Nights spent peering out windows, wondering if love was worth this terror. Internally, the conflict raged like a storm. Who was the villain here? Evelyn with her rigid beliefs, or me for defying them? Society amplified her voice. Online forums debated gay agendas ruining families, mirroring her rants. In America, progress clashed with tradition, leaving us in the crossfire. Why can't they accept us? I whispered to Brinley. She sighed. Because change scares them. Dad's silence hurt most. No calls, no visits. The man who'd taught me to ride a bike now treated me like a stranger. He'll come around, Brinley encouraged, but doubt festered. What if he didn't? The moral trade-off. My happiness versus his peace. Was I selfish? Brinley faced her own battles. At school, a petition circulated to protect children from her. I'm a teacher, not a threat, she cried one night. Holding her, I felt guilt. My family caused this. We could pretend separate publicly, I suggested desperately. Her eyes flashed. No, that's not us. The argument escalated, words like weapons. You're giving in, she accused. I retreated, ashamed. Reconciliation attempts failed. I emailed Evelyn pleading for truce. Her reply, only if you leave her. Ultimatum. The betrayal stung. Stepmother turned enemy. Memories of her baking cookies when I was teen clashed with this monster. Was she always this way, or did my truth unmask her? A surprise ally emerged. My aunt, Dad's sister, liberal and outspoken. Evelyn's toxic, she said over coffee. Fight for your marriage. Her support bolstered, but isolation persisted. Friends ghosted, fearing association. The social pressure. Weddings celebrated for straights, but ours? Scandal. The turning point. Brinley's breakdown. After a parent confrontation at school, she came home sobbing. They called me a predator. Rage boiled in me. That's it. We sue for harassment. But legal paths were murky, expensive. Instead, we attended a support group for LGBTQ couples, hearing similar stories, families torn, lives rebuilt. You're not alone, a woman shared. It helped, but wounds remained. Dad finally reached out, meeting secretly. Evelyn's pushing divorce. His confession, her control over him, emotional abuse. She's threatened to leave if I support you. The revelation shocked. Evelyn, abuser not just to me? Why stay? I asked. He shrugged. Love. Ironic. His love blinded him as mine empowered. The conversation sparked hope, but Evelyn discovered, erupting in fury. She showed up at our apartment banging on the door. Traitor! She screamed at Dad over the phone. We didn't open, calling police. Restraining order filed, but damage done. Neighbors stared, judging. Internally, I grappled. Forgive Evelyn? Her actions stemmed from fear, indoctrination. But forgiveness meant excusing hurt. Brinley urged boundaries. Protect us first. The societal mirror reflected ugly truths. Polls showed acceptance growing, but pockets of hate persisted. Our story, leaked online by Evelyn, went viral locally. Comments divided, some supportive, others vile. The exposure forced decisions. Go public or hide? We chose public. An interview with a local LGBTQ advocate, sharing our side. Love isn't a choice, hate is, Brinley stated. Backlash followed, threats but also support. The tide shifted slightly. Dad wavered, attending a therapy session with me. I miss my daughter. Tears flowed. But Evelyn's grip tightened, forbidding contact. The ultimate sacrifice loomed. Him choosing. Brinley and I strengthened, planning a real honeymoon delayed by chaos. We've earned this, she said. But shadows lingered. Evelyn's next plot? A bombshell dropped. Evelyn's past revealed by aunt. She was disowned for a teenage crush on a girl. Hypocrisy. Confronted, she denied, but cracks showed. I saved myself, she claimed. Saved? By becoming the oppressor? The revelation humanized her, but didn't excuse. Internal debate. Pity or anger? Pity won momentarily, but actions mattered. As tensions peaked, Dad made his stand. I'm leaving Evelyn. The call came late night. For you, Brooklyn. Relief mixed with sorrow. Another family broken. But Evelyn retaliated, spreading lies about abuse in our relationship. Absurd but damaging. We fought back with truth, community rallying. Through it all, our love endured, scarred but resilient. Yet, questions remained. Was the pain worth it? With Dad's departure from Evelyn, the landscape shifted dramatically. But victory felt pyrrhic as new wounds opened in unexpected places. Evelyn, cornered and furious, escalated to legal warfare, filing for custody of family assets and claiming emotional distress caused by my deviant lifestyle. The court papers arrived like a gut punch, her accusations painting me as the instigator, Brinley as the seducer. She's brainwashed my stepdaughter, the document read. Brainwashed? The irony burned, her indoctrination versus our genuine bond. Internally, the turmoil peaked. Was I the cause of this chaos? Dad's marriage crumbled because of me. Guilt gnawed. Moral choices aren't black and white. Mine grayed everything. Society's lens magnified. Media picked up the story, framing it as family feud over lesbian wedding. Comments flooded, supporters cheered, detractors condemned. In the land of liberty, our pursuit of happiness came at a steep cost. Brinley stood firm, but cracks appeared in her resolve. How much more can we take? She whispered after a grueling lawyer meeting. Savings dwindled, stress mounted. I held her, but doubt crept. Was our marriage a catalyst for destruction? The psychological weight. Therapy sessions unpacked layers, childhood suppression, familial expectations. You're not broken, the counselor said. But feeling whole seemed impossible. Dad moved in temporarily, an awkward reunion. I should have seen Evelyn's true colors sooner, he admitted. His stories revealed her manipulations, controlling finances, isolating him. She abused us both. Abuse. The word resonated. Her slap was the tip. But forgiveness? Complicated. He supported us now, attending Pride events tentatively. Learning, he called it. Evelyn's isolation grew. Family sided against her hypocrisy. But she lashed out, contacting Brinley's employer with fabricated complaints. Unfit to teach. The school investigated, suspending Brinley pending review. Rage consumed me. She's ruining lives. I screamed. Brinley, ever resilient, prepared her defense. Truth will prevail. The court date loomed, a battleground for morals. Evelyn testified tearfully. I raised her right, but this abomination stole her. Abomination. The judge's neutral gaze hid judgment. Our lawyer countered with evidence. Texts, witnesses. But the toll, sleepless nights pondering trade-offs. Happiness for pain? A surprise witness. Evelyn's estranged sister confirming the teenage crush. She projected her shame onto Brooklyn. The courtroom gasped. Evelyn broke, sobbing. I was scared. Scared. Her vulnerability pierced but actions unforgivable. Post-hearing, Dad confronted her privately. Let go, Ev. She refused, vowing appeals. The strain showed on everyone. Dad aged, Brinley withdrawn. In quiet moments, Brinley and I reconnected. Remember why we married? She asked. Vows echoed. For better or worse. Worse dominated but better glimpsed. Societal backlash intensified. Protests outside court. Signs reading protect traditional marriage. Counter-protests supported. America divided, our story a microcosm. Brinley's job reinstated after investigation cleared her. Victory but scarred. I almost quit teaching, she confessed. The damage, trust eroded. Dad found his own place rebuilding. Proud of you, he said. Pride from him. Healing began. But Evelyn's final gambit. A public apology letter twisted. I forgive Brooklyn for her sins. Forgive? Infuriating. We ignored focusing on us. Internal awakening. Love demands sacrifice but boundaries too. No more appeasing. As dust settled, normalcy teased. Dinners with Dad, friends returning. But scars remained, trust issues, anxiety. Brinley suggested therapy together. To strengthen us. We delved deep, unpacking traumas. We chose each other, she affirmed. Yet, Evelyn lurked, sending occasional messages. Come back to God. Blocked but haunting. The high point. An anniversary celebration, small but meaningful. Toast to resilience. But undercurrents of loss. Questions persisted. Did we win, or just survive? The price. Family fractured, innocence lost. Resolution came not in triumph but in quiet reckonings. As the legal battles faded and Evelyn retreated into solitude, her influence waning like a dying storm. The judge ruled in our favor, dismissing her claims as baseless harassment, ordering her to cease contact. Relief washed over us, but the victory was hollow. Years of damage couldn't be undone by a gavel strike. Dad finalized his divorce, emerging freer but haunted by lost time. I enabled her too long, he confessed over coffee, his eyes reflecting regret. Internally, the final confrontations played out in my mind. Had I been right to stand firm? The moral ambiguities lingered. Defying family for love felt noble. Yet the collateral, broken bonds, emotional scars questioned the cost. Society evolved slowly. Our story inspired some, but others clung to prejudice, reminding us progress was fragile. Brinley and I rebuilt deliberately. She returned to teaching with renewed passion, advocating for inclusive education. For kids like us once, she said. I poured energy into design work, creating campaigns for LGBTQ rights. Our apartment, once a bunker, became a haven. But intimacy shifted, trust tested, we communicated deeper, vulnerabilities exposed. An unexpected olive branch. Evelyn's sister reached out, sharing letters from Evelyn's youth, revealing suppressed desires. She hated herself, she explained. Pity stirred but not reconciliation. Some bridges burn, Brinley noted wisely. Dad integrated into our lives, holidays shared tentatively. Brinley's family now, he declared. Acceptance hard won. Yet betrayals echoed. Sarah, my old friend, apologized half-heartedly. Evelyn pressured me. Forgiven? Not fully. Boundaries set. The awakening culminated in a quiet evening. Brinley and I walked Chicago's streets, hands linked openly. We made it, she whispered. Made it through fire emerging changed. But the price? Lost innocence, heightened vigilance. Was it worth it? Love prevailed, but at what ethical cost? In reflection, characters paid dearly. Evelyn, isolated in dogma. Dad, freedom via loss. Us, strength through suffering. The story closes not in neat bows, but open wounds healed partially. Love triumphed, but shadows remain. Was it right to prioritize personal love over familial duty, even if it shattered lives along the way? The resolution unfolded gradually, layers peeling back to reveal the true extent of our transformations. After the court's decision, Evelyn vanished from our radar, rumored to have moved to a conservative enclave in the South, where her views found echo chambers. Dad, unburdened, began dating. A kind woman who accepted us warmly. No more toxicity, he vowed. His growth inspired, but reminded of the years wasted under Evelyn's thumb. My own evolution was profound. The slap, once a burning memory, became a scar, a reminder of resilience. Internally, I dissected choices. Marrying Brinley was no mistake, but the secrecy early on? Perhaps. Hiding bread explosions. Moral lesson. Authenticity demands courage, but timing matters. Brinley blossomed too, channeling pain into activism. She spoke at panels sharing our tale. Love isn't a threat. Fear is. Audiences applauded, but trolls online persisted. Society's pulse. Acceptance rising, but backlash fierce in pockets. We traveled finally. A belated honeymoon to California. Beaches and sunsets mending souls. This is us, Brinley said, toes in sand. Us, scarred but unbreakable. Back home, challenges lingered. Anxiety flares, trust issues in relationships. Therapy continued, unpacking. You're survivors, the counselor affirmed. Evelyn's ghost appeared once. A letter and signed. I pray for you. Pray. We burned it, symbolic release. Family redefined. Aunt became closer, Dad a constant. No perfect endings, but functional. The deeper impact. Community. Our story connected us to others, couples facing similar wars. Support groups grew into friendships. Yet, the debate internally. Did we exacerbate divisions or force necessary change? Evelyn's fall, tragic but self-inflicted. In quiet nights, Brinley and I discuss futures. Kids? Adoption loomed, but fears of judgment. We'll protect them, she promised. The narrative arcs converged. From shock to awakening, betrayals to bonds. But the ultimate question lingers, sparking endless debate. Was it ethically justifiable to pursue a love that defied family and society, knowing the irreversible damage it would cause to all involved?